2025 might be the most important year in Quest history. Yes, that is right. This is said to be a massive year for the Quest, or it has to be a massive year, I should say. An internal memo from Andrew Bosworth that was sent to Reality Labs was leaked yesterday, and it goes through a whole bunch of encouraging jargon about wanting to increase sales and everyone working their hardest and all of that stuff you'd see in like an encouragement memo. But it also talks about this year needing to be a success. In the memo, Boz says that this will be the most critical year in his 8-year tenure at Reality Labs, saying, quote, "This year likely determines whether this entire effort will go down as the work of visionaries or as a legendary misadventure." Now, I'm not 100% sure what specifically he is talking about, whether he's talking about the Quest line as a whole, Reality Labs, or if he's talking about Horizon Worlds, because there is some mention of Horizon Worlds in there as well. Specifically talking about the mobile version of Horizon Worlds needing to take off this year, and it is imperative that it does, according to Boz, for the success of the platform. That could very well be what he's specifically talking about, not specifically the Quest line. 2024 was the best year in Reality Labs history with over $1 billion in sales, but it also had an increase in costs, and they lost over $4 billion. So they made $1 billion and they spent over $6 billion. That's not a great thing when you're trying to create a product to sell. We already know that Meta is injecting a ton of cash into virtual reality and all of their Reality Labs projects. It's not just Quest, it's all of their other projects, their future headsets, future AI-based projects, things like the Ray-Ban Metas that did really well in 2024 and the new products coming from that line as well as their other wearables and their true augmented reality glasses that are set to launch somewhere in the next couple of years as well. Most of that budget probably goes to research and development as they inject tons of cash to try to create new products and make the technology even better. The question is, how long is that much of a cash influx sustainable? Can Meta continue to lose $4 billion a year trying to make VR a massive success? That's probably why they've shifted from just VR to VR, MR, AI, and everything else Reality Labs does, including the Ray-Ban Metas. That has been a massive success with the attraction of celebrities and a lot of people because they're just great glasses to capture moments whenever you want to. And for the AI, the Meta AI in the glasses works great as well. This memo by Boz is yet another thing that I've seen that indicates that 2025 could be the biggest year we've had for the Meta Quest yet. Everything from rumblings about new games from studios that are part of the Oculus family, new projects set to be announced and potentially released this year, just like we got Batman last year. I've heard rumors that there are a handful of titles coming from Oculus Studios this year that are set to make a big splash in the world of the Quest platform. This is going to be an off year because this isn't a hardware year. Last year, we had the Quest 3S. The year before that, we had the Quest 3. This year, I don't expect to see any hardware release. We might get a tease of something new at Connect in September, as long as that still happens. But I think this year is going to be all about the software and the platform itself. Everything from Horizon Worlds getting massive updates from what I'm hearing, some really big rumblings that could turn Horizon Worlds into a destination where people really want to go and takes the experiences in there and elevates them to a level that I didn't think was even possible. Then you've got the games, the mixed reality focus, the platform itself potentially getting a full refresh for the Quest OS, and a bunch of other things that point at the fact that this could be a massive year for Quest. Maybe even the biggest year yet. At least that is my hope. If Boz is hinging his hopes on the year of 2025 being his biggest year at Reality Labs, that's a big deal. And he's asking all of the employees and all the staff there in Reality Labs to work their hardest and to do their best and to take that next step and do better. I think that we have the potential to see some big things this year. Whether it's going to be massive games, I don't know. Or whether it's going to be massive updates to the hardware or the software or whatever it is, whatever we see, I think things are going to be exciting this year. In my personal opinion, this year is going to be to set up 2026. I think we're going to see a lot of really big updates to the Quest platform as a whole. Horizon, I'm not even going to touch on that. That could be a whole video on the things that I've heard, but we'll talk about that later for Horizon Worlds. That's exciting to me too, if the rumors are true. And the games. I think that if Quest 4 is legitimately coming out in 2026, which is what the rumor is, if it's coming out next year, which I think it could actually hold it off until 2027, given the hardware that we have right now, and if they can put out some big games. But we'll have to wait and see on that. If it comes out in 2026, like the rumors say, I think there's potential for this year to be that in-between year where we actually have the gaming showcase, because we didn't have one last year. I believe we had one the year before because that was the Quest 3 launch year, and they teased that in that gaming showcase. But we haven't had a gaming showcase for a year. So the hope and expectation is we actually get one this year, and we get some big titles. Now, taking a detour really quickly, in March, there is going to be a showcase for games, but it's going to be a totally different showcase and not specifically to Meta. I'm talking about the next VR games showcase. We saw some great titles announced and additional information released last year at what they did for their VR gaming showcases. This is set to be in March, and it's supposed to be their biggest showcase yet. I've seen some teases by some developers sharing with, the eye emoji or teasing that they might have an announcement. And I'm hoping we get some really fun, big stuff from that. So keep an eye on that in March. But I do hope that in April, which is what we've gotten the last couple of times, I believe, we will see a Meta Quest gaming showcase. I'd love to see some massive titles announced. I know the first title everyone's going to talk about is Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, and while we may see that eventually, I have a feeling that that won't be happening anytime soon, especially with Rockstar's focus being on the next GTA game, their AAA GTA game for the current generation consoles. I don't think we're going to be seeing a lot from San Andreas anytime soon. But the hope is that we see some other massive games. Studios that are part of the Oculus family, like the studio behind Path of the Warrior, for instance, which I think is Twisted Pixel. They are part of the Oculus family, the Oculus Studios family, I should say, and they have been working on a title, apparently. It's rumored, and who knows what that is. And the developer behind Population 1 is apparently rumored to be working on a brand new game as well, as the development cycles continue. I hope that we see games from all of the Oculus Studios, brand new games, something exciting to really get us all excited to continue to play VR, but also bring another whole audience in as well. And I hope that we get other flat games that are brought to VR. Resident Evil was an amazing port, Resident Evil 4. I think that if they continue to do just that, they could get a massive amount more people into virtual reality. In fact, if that studio was working on another title, which it very well could be, maybe we'd even see something from that. I've heard rumors that that's going to be an exciting announcement as well. They did such a great job with Resident Evil 4 porting. I would hope that Meta would put them on doing that with another game, but that remains to be seen. We'll have to see how that goes. Regardless, 2025 seems like it's going to be a big year for the Quest, and I couldn't be more excited. I personally get more excited for games these days than hardware anyways. Well, it'd be awesome to have a Quest that was even higher quality with OLED displays, or was it micro OLED, or whatever the newest, best technology is. I think that Apple Vision Pro has it. I don't know. Whatever it is, the better display instead of the LCD panels. And if it had eye tracking and face tracking and it was even smaller and it was more powerful, that all sounds amazing. But for me, the Quest 3 is still a great gaming device. And I just can't wait to see what we get to play on it. Whether it's big AAA titles being ported or if it's original games being brought from big franchises like Arkham Shadow. Speaking of Arkham Shadow, did you know that they have updated the game with version 1.3? There is now a Game Plus mode. I think it's I Am the Shadow mode. And if you beat the game, there is a post-credit scene. So don't leave. There's this whole section you can play in the post-credits. And it sets up another game perfectly. I'm not going to ruin it for you. If you want to check it out, you can find it on YouTube. Or if you want to play it, you can do that too. I recommend playing it, though, because it's really, really cool. And it perfectly sets up a next game. I really hope we get a trilogy of VR games from the Arkham Shadow universe. That would be just ultimate to me. The game was so fantastic, I could easily play another one or two or three. There's already potential for this year to be a big year from studios outside of Oculus Studios, because things like, and I know this isn't everyone's jam. I am really excited for it, though. Farming Simulator is coming to Quest. If you hadn't heard, it's coming at the end of this month, I believe. Yeah, the end of February. And I just can't wait. Obviously visually it doesn't look as good as like the PC version, but this is a native VR version by the same studio that did that game, and they're very passionate about their game. So I'm hoping it's just as good. It looks like it's got smooth locomotion from what I can tell from the trailer, which is good. Some of the games that have come out that are those simulator games don't have that. I just hope that they've done a good job with this, because this is one of those games like Lawn Mowing Simulator that made me sick because of the asynchronous warp or whatever you call it, AWS or whatever, and I just didn't enjoy that game. It was okay. There's some other simulators that I really love, but Farming Simulator is the one I've been waiting for. I just can't wait. And some people say it's stupid to want to do what you can do in the real world in a game. But, I don't have tractors that I can drive around a field and plant wheat and harvest it. And, to me, that's entertaining and it's fun and it's relaxing. So I'm excited personally for that. But that's just me. Anyways, there's a lot of great games coming this year. If you haven't checked out my most recent video about upcoming games, I think there was 47 games, or was it 37? It was a lot of games, 47, I think, that are coming out this year. A lot of really excited ones, a lot of unique ones. I'll put a link in the description if you want to check out that video. Let me know what your thoughts are, though, on all of this drama, whether this is a true year for success or failure, if next year is going to look totally different if this year doesn't go good for Meta, for the Reality Labs. We'll have to wait and see how things go. But let me know what you think down in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. And as always, happy questing.